YouTube have announced a ton of upgrades and new features all rolling out over the coming months designed to help creators just like you reach more people and make better content. But will these tools help your channel? And as a community, do we think they're any good? The only way to answer that is via the help of my co-host for this video, who goes by the name of Dan. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Hey. Yeah, good.
Awesome to see you.
I'm the only way to answer these questions.
Yeah, so let's get straight into the updates. YouTube had a Made on YouTube event where they launched several features and tools. None of them are out just yet. They're all, rolling out in the coming months. So I would say within the next 12 months, you'll see all of these things in the YouTube ecosphere, however I want to pronounce it. And hopefully I've set up this video so that you can see all of these tools. We're going to talk about each one after you've seen a little introduction from YouTube. So get ready with the first one. If I can press the right buttons, I need to share my screen. How do I do that? Oh, I've made a complete mess of this. Thank you, Dan. All right.
You're welcome.
Can't edit that out of the video on demand, can we? Anyway, this is the first one, and it's called YouTube Communities.
Communities are a new destination on YouTube where creators and fans can come together and build deeper connections. Think of communities as dedicated spaces linked from your channels for you and your fans to discuss content, share fan art, post polls, converse with like-minded individuals, and more. Once you enable communities on your channel, you and your subscribers will be able to create and share posts, and you'll be able to moderate these posts. This product is currently in the experiment phase and will start launching to more creators in the coming months.
So there you have YouTube Communities. Dan, we're going to ask our live stream audience what they think of it right now. So if you can set up a poll, and you're going to see some interesting letters as way of ranking this, because what we are going to do is put all of these updates in a tier list, everybody's favorite way of ranking everything in the 21st century. So communities, is it S tier, A tier, B tier, or F tier? Let us know voting live. But Dan, let's now talk about, thank you for the comment there. But Dan, let's now talk about this thing, communities. How do you understand how this feature might work?
Okay. I know somebody who has this feature, and I gotta say, I feel like a lot of people here are gonna vote kind of like we just got a comment. This is meh. Yeah, I might be just an outcast here, but to me, this is an amazing feature, and I'll tell you why. How many of you, show of hands, because we're already using the poll, how many of you have a YouTube channel where you've attached some kind of community to it, such as a Discord server, a subreddit, or something like that, a Facebook group, whatever it might be? Are you trying to pull people off of YouTube in order to have deeper community interactions with them somewhere else? Now, it is good to not put all your eggs in one basket, YouTube being the basket in this case. However, I've tried to run Discord servers alongside my communities for a long time, and it's always that just slight detachment where you have so many people who just won't follow you over there. I've seen this in action, and it is incredible the amount of people who engage with it. It's incredible the amount of people who share pictures and memes and all kinds of stuff within your YouTube channel. And I think it's another way to keep people in your channel's own little ecosystem. I'm very excited about it because it feels like it's just a level up for the community tab. If you already use the community tab, this is great. If you don't like the community tab, I understand why this is kind of meh. But I think it's way more engaging than just the kind of like post into the thin air void and see if people see it and comment on it. I'm very excited about it.
So what some people have described this as, Dan, is basically reinventing Reddit for YouTube, whereby the channel is a subreddit and then people can share all of their thoughts and comments on it. And you are right in the sense that this is immense for community engagement. I can see us kind of resurrecting vidIQ memes. Like we used to do memes of the week on live streams, and I've been posting a lot more memes on our channel and like just trying to get into the YouTube culture of like the 1 of 10s, the 10 of 10s, people getting demonetized, remonetized, that type of thing. I want to encourage all of that in our community once we have a feature available. The concern I have is how on earth do you moderate and control all of this? Like at scale, how do you gatekeep this?
That is the remains to be seen, because what stops somebody from going into your more wholesome community and posting NSFW content? Hopefully really smart algorithms. Discord has some kind of functionality built into it whereby it's somehow able to detect images that are not good. So I would hope YouTube has figured that out, and so some of the worst content you can imagine doesn't get put onto your feed. But that is the thing, right? Like, you're going to need to make sure that if you're going to run a community, you have moderators in place. And if you live stream, you probably have some moderators. And
True.
A lot of people might not know this, but your moderators can actually moderate your YouTube comments and things like that too. It's just no one ever thinks about that because it's always in the context of live streaming. So there are ways to do this whereby, it's like any community. How do you moderate it? But yes, YouTube is going to need to give us some automation here, and they mention it every time they talk about it. They're like, and it could be moderated. Like, they know people are thinking immediately, like, this sounds bad. I don't know if I want to enable that. And it sounds like it's an opt-in. You don't have to enable this. So that is at the end of the day, if you don't want to deal with it, that's the best part about this update. Like a lot of YouTube updates, you can just completely ignore it.
And let's be honest, we have been talking about the power of the community tab for years at this point, as a way to reach your audience very quickly. And now your audience is going to be able to, I guess, spread your word, your tribe, your message, your value to more people. And does it give smaller creators within your community the opportunity to reach new audiences as well? I guess it all remains to be seen from a certain point of view. But that is, I guess, in a nutshell, communities, which means at this point, Dan, I think we need to rank this as our first feature. So in terms of the voting, where are we at?
So we put up a poll. I should have been more clear. S is S tier, meaning the best tier. Yeah. Then A, B, and F. S and A are kind of like competing right now. So The S tier is 35%. The A tier is 37%. So right now everyone's ranking it in A for the most part, the majority. And then B is 19%, F is 9%. So most people seem to feel pretty positive about this. I didn't give one example, by the way. I do feel like we could get a lot of use out of this feature if we get it, because imagine doing something where we ask people to submit thumbnails or something like that. Like, for us, this is a huge opportunity. We're very excited about it. I don't know if we're letting our opinions weigh into this, or we're letting everybody else.
We have a voice as well. And I am running a live stream, so I can put it wherever I want.
It just shot back up now. S is 37%. So now S tier is winning.
Ooh.
I'm an S vote myself. I think this is an S tier feature. But
you see, I don't think this can be an S tier, because it doesn't. Let's be honest. This doesn't directly impact views, subscribers, monetization. I think it's like the best tool it could be for something that's separate from what YouTube was originally designed for, which is content.
I don't disagree with that, but in a world where we are moving more and more and more into the realm of AI content and things like that, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a channel that's faceless and stuff like that. If you want to do that on YouTube, that's fine, you can. But the thing that's going to separate us from folks who are doing more like automated style content is community. Community is so important. Whether you value the community tab or not, you can't deny that level of connection is going to be what separates you from any of those creators who are like, I just kind of have a machine make my videos for me. That's why I think this is the right tool for the right time. But I'm not trying to sway you necessarily. Well, your opinion's valid here, but I just wanted to give that last little push.
The community is now like a definitive S tier, like 39% now, above 35%. And another thing that's just occurred to me is this tool is going to be available to pretty much all creators, as I understand it. Like, if you have a community tab, which most creators do, I assume you'll be able to turn on communities as well. So, all right, we'll go S tier. I can't believe the first thing where ranking is like at the very top, but there you are. Shall we watch the next feature?
Okay.
Goes like this. When it's not muted. Oh, no, I pressed the wrong button. No, go back. I don't want to see CoffeeZilla right now. Oh, I had everything set up so well. Right. Oh, now I've lost my chapters. Right. Let's try again, shall we? Hopefully.
We're evolving the Comments tab in YouTube Studio mobile app to be called Community. This community hub will help you more easily engage with your fans in a number of ways, including comment reply suggestions, which are editable, AI-enhanced reply suggestions reflective of your unique style and tone, giving you a helpful starting point to reply to comments. Community Spotlight, a carousel that highlights some of your key commenters. Plus, easier discovery of audience metrics, like number of comments on your content and returning viewers. Select features will become globally available in the coming weeks, and comment reply suggestions will roll out gradually over time.
Okay, so Dan, if you want to set up VATs as a voting poll, what are you laughing at? I can see you chuckling away there.
Remember when I said communities separates us from the AI comment or the AI videos? And then the next feature is, hey, AI is going to help you reply to your comments now. Sorry to sway the vote before.
This is a feature that has been around for a while, I think. You know, we had our own AI comment reply, but I've seen this in the YouTube studio for forever at this point. I don't think this is a new tool, this part of it.
So I'm going to do the poll again. S, A, B, and F. I'm calling it Community Hub / comment update.
Right.
Start poll. What is the other thing? So I got really hung up on the AI like replies. Right. What's the other thing it does?
So move away from this, which I think pretty much already exists. Yeah. I think this next part is quite intriguing because what I've always found difficult with comments is that you almost have to run your comments by memory. Like, oh, I remember this person has commented dozens of times on my video. It does already have icons which show that this person's been subscribed to the channel for a while, but it doesn't give you like a comment count or other things that might help you determine who are your loyalist fans who aren't necessarily members. So for me, the community spotlight is something that's interesting from a metrics point of view. I'm just wondering, like, if I can contact them directly or reward them in some way other than just the panels that I see here.
Yeah, maybe you would prioritize their replies. Like if you have memberships enabled on YouTube, there's a whole section of your studio that will let you see when a member comments. So if you're struggling to get to reply to comments, at the very least, you can actually see, okay, are my paying members commenting? Because maybe I can prioritize those replies. And so this could be that where it's like your top commenters are getting spotlit, and then you can be like, okay, like this person comments all the time. I should definitely at least do a heart or something like that. Again, it's good to encourage this type of interaction. I don't think this is, I'll spoil what I feel like right now. I don't think this is a bad thing. AI comments aside, because like Rob said, we have had those. I've had those on mobile forever. That I don't think it's a bad thing. I wonder, will people use it? Kind of like the community tab update we just talked about. Like, are people going to take the time? Or are they going to go back to making videos? I don't know. That's just kind of interesting. But making comments easier to navigate is not a bad thing. Certainly just seems like a level up to me overall.
We've got some new perhaps metrics up here as well, like returning viewers for comments. That might be interesting. It would be interesting if you can drill down into those metrics, like how many commenters are brand new for the first time or how many are repeat commenters. But I don't know how granular that's going to go. And like just a straight up comment count, is that done by per day or last 72 hours or on a new video? It's a couple of unknowns. I am in somewhat of agreement with you, Dan, in that this is long overdue. I feel as if the comment section of a YouTube studio has needed to be worked on for a long time. But again, it's like a battle between S and A tier. People really like this, but I kind of want to just hold people back a little bit here and say, it's nice to have, but is this really going to completely change the way you interact with your audience and build a community faster? I'm not convinced of that.
It feels like a smaller update because the community spaces is like a massive thing. If you've seen one in action, you know it really takes over the community tab section and changes it a lot. This feels like, hey, we've improved comments a little bit. It's easier to interact with them in some ways now, which is not a bad thing. We answer a lot of comments. Like any improvements to filtering and stuff, I will take. But yeah, it does feel like an A tier update.
Let's go for it then. Let's go for it. The next update, you may have heard quite a lot about already. And you can see it on my screen right now if you look really hard. See if you can see it. See if you can see it. Let us know in the comments if you see it. But for now, Dan, let's play the video so that people know what we're talking about next.
We're introducing Hype, a new way for viewers to show they enjoy your content on top of liking and sharing. We built this feature to help smaller creators with 500 to 500,000 subs be discovered by new audiences. Viewers can hype your latest videos up to 3 times a week. The more viewers that hype a video, the more likely it is to land on the new Hype leaderboard with some of the other most hyped videos of the week. This leaderboard is separate from the trending tab and will show as a new destination under the Explore section or after a viewer hypes a video. This is currently an experiment on mobile for a small group of creators in Brazil, Turkey, and Taiwan, and we will let you know when the test group is expanding to more people.
Okay, I know a lot about this tool already because I've made a dedicated video on this, which is coming out tomorrow as we do this live stream. So Dan, let me know your thoughts before I add even more context about this tool.
Okay, I'm seeing S tier already taking this one. I'm going to burst some bubbles right now because this is how I feel about the Hype feature.
Oof.
The reason
I need a sound effect for that.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
The reason I feel this way, and this is I want this to be proven wrong. Okay, I'm not trying to say this like I'm hoping it's happening because I think this is an inherent good for the platform, but will we use it from the viewer's perspective? Meaning, how often are you going to go into that Explore tab and look for hyped up videos? I'm really looking for something that the people have hyped up today, is not something you think to yourself. The browse feed typically has you covered. It knows what you want to watch already. It sees you when you're sleeping, and it wants to deliver you content in your chimney or something. So, so you are going to, it's an analogy that kind of fell apart in the middle of making it. You are going to probably never click on the button for finding hyped videos. I hope I'm wrong about that because I think a viewer watching your content going, I really want this to take off. This user made a terrible title, but that's okay because I'm going to hype the video anyway, and hopefully it lands somewhere. Like, it could be a new way to discover content. Do we go into those pages? There's already pages where you can discover new content, and I don't feel like people use them. I could be wrong. YouTube would have data on this. I certainly do not, but it just feels like it's going to be something that's going to get a lot of people excited, but is it going to be something people actually seek out? I'm looking for hyped content today. Will anyone actually click on that button?
Okay, so did anybody see the little teaser in my camera frame? It's going to be the new YouTuber catchphrase in 2025, which is, if I can point to it, hype and subscribe. That's what people are going to start saying. Right, to give you a bit more context, how this helps smaller channels is that you don't get, it's not a one-to-one ratio. One hype is not just a single hype. You get hype points. So let's say, for example, a channel of 500 subscribers gets 3 hypes. But because they're a small channel, each hype is worth 5,000 hype points. But then a channel of 50,000 subscribers gets 10 hypes, but their hypes are only worth 1,000 points each. So that means a channel with only 3 hypes has more hype points than a larger channel. So it kind of levels the playing field. And I think that's an interesting idea because viewers can only hype 3 videos per week. So there's a scarcity to these hypes as well. Like, you've got to selectively choose which videos you want to hype. So I find that part of it interesting. Mm-hmm. And the leaderboards do create this idea of a competitive edge to them, Dan. But I completely agree with you in that who on earth is actually going to visit these leaderboards? It may create a ton of engagement and gamification and create these leaderboards, but am I just going to go into this leaderboard because, hey, vidIQ's at the top of the leaderboard because we've got the most hypes, but no viewers are actually going to this leaderboard and clicking on that video? Because, and again, I think this is crucial, the leaderboards, as I understand it, are sorted by country, not niche. So there's going to be a mix of like gaming videos and sports videos and potentially beauty videos, none of which you're interested in as an aviation hobbyist. So it creates a new opportunity to get discovered, but our viewer is going to use that as a discovery opportunity for the content they watch. And also another really critical thing here is it doesn't impact, hype points do not impact at all, and they've said this, on recommendations or search. So you could get 1 trillion hype points on a video, and it's not going to influence at all whether that video appears on the browse page or a search page.
I feel like that is a bit confusing, because I have to imagine if enough people see the hype section and they watch based on the fact that the video was hyped up, that has to affect browse somehow. Like if enough people are clicking on the video, unless those clicks. So if I go to the hype shelf specifically looking for hyped up content, I click the most hyped video or one of the most hyped videos, doesn't that count as me like seeing something and engaging with it? Should that not then make it more relevant in browse? But that they could be saying, well, no, you clicked it from the hype shelf, so we're literally not counting that. I don't know. That's what's confusing about it. But yeah, I think that's the big thing. I do believe I can see them doing like a hype shelf, like the short shelf. Maybe sometimes it just randomly appears as like, here's the leaderboard. We know you're not even clicking on this, so here it is. That's the thing. This is still solidly an S for our audience right now. And I get it. You're all here because you want discovery of your content. I'm saying, in my opinion, you should temper your expectations here, because
I agree.
Entirely on human nature. You are people who watch YouTube, presumably. You don't just make videos. I assume you're also watching it. Do you ever click the Explore tab? Be honest with yourself. I want to know if I'm wrong. I want to know if I'm wrong, and I would love it if I'm wrong, because that would mean this is a valid way to get discovered. That would be awesome. I don't see it. I don't use YouTube this way. I know a lot of people don't use YouTube this way. It's literally open my phone, what's browse serving me today, and then you go down a rabbit hole. I don't see this being the thing personally.
It is too good to be true as a way of small creators suddenly hacking the algorithm as they all desire to do. YouTube's not in the business of making like a magic bullet, something that can be exploited. And so I think they have to be very careful with this. Another side of this we have to be really careful with, Dan, is potentially bots. Like, what does 3 hypes per week mean? Is it per YouTube channel, or is it per Google account? Are there going to be channels just creating 1 million burner channels so they can hype videos as much as they can? And are we going to see a new landscape whereby you're not buying in views and subscribers on the darkest, deepest depths of the internet, but instead you're buying hype points? I'm worried about the money. Right. So yeah, I need to remember to mention that. So you get 3 free hypes per week, but in the future, I should have brought this article as well where it says it. In the future, viewers will be able to buy more hypes to further hype a creator's video, and the creator receives some of that revenue as well. So they're monetizing this. And again, from a creator's point of view, that seems to uneven the playing field, because then there might be brands and businesses who can almost buy enough hype points to get their videos at the top of the leaderboards when they're first starting out. They might have an unfair advantage. So that's something else to consider with hype. Having said all of that, let's applaud the fact that YouTube are trying to acknowledge that small creators feel as if one of the biggest challenges they have on the platform is getting discovered. And this isn't impacting any existing discovery opportunities. It's creating a brand new one, but it is separate to what already exists. Yeah. So let's make a decision here.
So, okay, it's 43% on the S tier, which is a far cry from everything else. 22 on A, 17 on B, and 17 on F. So I don't know, like law of averages wise, I have no idea. Like, to me, this is a solid B at best.
Yeah, I agree. So we have to pull it down from an S to an A, I think, and
I
like
think
compromise.
Put it to an A based on our negativity towards it. But let it be known that our audience who is voting on the poll live, and then we're getting more votes in now that I'm talking about this, 45% say S tier. You know, there's plenty more of you who haven't voted yet. But Rob and I are skeptical, it sounds like.
I highly recommend you watch the video I am publishing tomorrow about this very topic. I also want to mention as well, big shout out to Doug Hewson, who did all of these tools in an S tier format as well on his channel. I was going to do that as well, but then I saw Doug's had already beaten me to it. But I just want to acknowledge him to make sure that I'm not stealing his idea. I should have mentioned that earlier, but yeah, great work, good idea. And we're just riffing on it a little bit. All right, Dan, shall we go to the next tool, or have you got something else to mention?
Are these official yet? Yes, these are official YouTube updates.
Oh, yes, they are.
Quick.
This is from the Made on YouTube video from the YouTube creators official channel. Next tool, here we go.
We're expanding auto dubbing, our AI-powered dubbing feature, which helps you reach more audiences around the world. We're opening up the tool to hundreds of thousands of creators. Channel owners will receive a notification via email when their channel has been given access. In the coming months, English can be dubbed into Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and more, or for the content in those languages to be dubbed into English. You can choose which languages will be automatically dubbed upon upload, with an opt-out available. We're expanding to more creators and languages in the coming months, so keep an eye out.
Get your votes in for auto dubbing. And Dan, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm wondering how the poll is going to fall here. This could be a little controversial just because it is like an AI coming in and just like dubbing your content for you. And people, you know, some folks are going to love that. Some folks are going to hate that. I personally think this is great from an accessibility standpoint. I personally think that you are not taking the time, most likely, to translate your content anyway. We do this, like we have a Spanish channel and our videos, not all of them, but a handful of them get dubbed in Spanish. And the team is awesome because they also go in and they change the graphics. They do a lot of work to make those videos accessible. Yeah. This is like one more step towards that accessibility, opening up to all creators. Sounds like for free. I mean, that's pretty wild. If you were hoping that your videos could reach a wider audience, this is kind of YouTube saying, yeah, go for it. You do your video like you always do. We will have robots come in and dub it for folks in other languages. I also think this kind of shifts the strategy of uploading to where maybe you don't put text in your thumbnails because you're trying to have a broader appeal. Maybe you are cautious about the graphics you put on screen. So in case someone is watching who speaks another language, like you respect the fact they might not be able to read everything. Do they need to read to understand what's happening? Like it makes you ask a lot of questions about how you produce content if this is a goal. Again, it's always like an opt-in or opt-out kind of situation with YouTube, which is great. But I see this as a very positive thing because it really can only, in my opinion, lead to more views on your channel. You're doing exactly what you're doing now. Maybe there's a shift in strategy if you want there to be, but you can also just opt into it on videos and see what happens. And this is very, very interesting.
I think this feature of automatic dubbing is quite clutching that you just tick a box and it just takes care of everything for you. Set and forget. I always like tools that do that. And, you know, on the face of it, Dan, this feels like a no-brainer. Like, of course, I would love my content to be translated into languages that I can't do myself, either through cost, time, or resources. I guess trying to think of the caveats, this tool is going to be launched to everybody. So all of a sudden, pretty much everyone's content is going to be dubbed in multiple languages. So how does that necessarily help a particular individual with their content? I guess it's looking at your point of view, Dan, whereby you be more strategic with how you market your content to an international audience. And we're saying this is a great, fantastic feature because we happen to speak English or Portuguese or Spanish or Italian, but there are dozens of languages that aren't yet supported. So maybe there's going to be a feeling of FOMO and being left out. But it just feels like there are again, at the surface level, any drawbacks to this? Any reason why we shouldn't encourage this to be a tool that all creators just turn on and see what happens with their audience?
Already, if you look in your analytics, you probably have people watching your videos from countries that are not like English first kind of countries, assuming a lot of you are making English speaking content. This is where English speaking here. So it's already happening to where your content's being discovered outside of your region. So I don't see this as a negative in any sense. There are a couple comments about, what about AI voices? People don't like those. Yeah, absolutely. AI voices are getting really, really, really good though. At the very least, they are becoming tolerable, versus like just a couple years ago where it was obviously robotic and some people would try to do an entire video that way. And it's like, no thanks. Now you have to kind of listen for a minute and go, I think this might be AI. If knowing YouTube, they will probably put a label on it. If you're watching dubbed content, it'll probably say, hey, you're listening to this in its non-native like language.
That is interesting, Dan. Yeah, like, because they have created this AI synthetic or altered content. Would that fall under that umbrella? I don't know if it does or not. I mean, yes, it's using like AI. Yeah. All right. A brand new label. Yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. Like only if you're watching it dubbed, I think it'll probably signal. Just like if you click on the bottom of the video right now, like you can see the languages and stuff. Like it'll probably just be in there. Like you're already listening to a dubbed version. If you go on Netflix and you watch a show that's in another language, you can actually tell like, oh, okay, I can watch an English dubbed version. Like we have to go into the settings to see that. I bet it'll be right there. So I don't know. It's interesting. I personally think this is a huge one. It looks like on our poll, S tier's at 48%.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, A tier's at 34. D and F are again at like 9.
I think if communities is going to be an S tier, this I think is a S plus tier for me.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe we'll all be wrong when it comes out. We'll cover it when it is released. All right, next one. I'm fascinated to know what people think about this.
We're introducing gifts powered by Jewels. Jewels are digital items that unlock new ways for you to earn from viewer participation on YouTube. Viewers can purchase Jewels to send gifts to show their support and appreciation for you and your channel. Jewels and gifts will be available on vertical live streams launching in the US over the coming months.
If anybody's familiar with TikTok, you will know plenty about this. Buying digital gifts with real money to then give to the creator. It looks like it's going to be on Shorts live streaming, I guess we might call it. The way I joked about this in the YouTube update last week was, I don't know if you came across the phenomenon last year of NPC TikTokers who would make noises based on what gift they got. This is coming to YouTube, basically. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Okay, our audience is going to hate this, I think, because of how many people in our orbit just hate shorts and and short live stream. Like, there's so many of you, we've seen it, that like just do not like the vertical content, and I get it. I think this is a complicated one because YouTube, we have to accept that YouTube has opened the doors for creators who like to make exclusively this type of content.
Sure.
And YouTube is just trying to be this all-around platform for everybody. And we don't have to like some of the features that get added, but I don't think that makes them bad necessarily. Now, what I will say is that, that looks bad. I think just my own opinion on how they're displaying this and how it looks, it literally doesn't look that good to me. I've always liked Twitch and like bits and stuff like that. I've always thought the animations were very clean and the graphics they use are very clean. This looks like a mobile game to me. Like the aesthetic is not right. So I might rank it based on stuff like that personally.
It does feel as if it is targeted a little bit towards children.
Yes, and it's
which again, I'd say a little tentatively.
Yeah. Currencies on other platforms, like you pay money and you get a currency out of it. That's very normal. Twitch has made that completely normal over there. This is a bit different. I feel like if they're going to do this, like, I wonder if it opens the door for YouTube to introduce its own bits system for, standard live streaming and things like that. I don't know. That can be a whole other tangent one day. But yeah, my opinion on this is that we can already tell it's in the F tier pretty solidly for our audience. A lot of people are going to hate this. it's either because you don't like shorts content or you don't like more monetization being put on the platform. But again, it's something you don't have to buy these things. You don't have to participate in it. So I'm weirdly in the middle on this. I would probably, my worst ranking, I give this as a B, only because I can see YouTube from a business perspective kind of wanting to like get in on this trend.
You're right, Dan. There's an inevitability of this because it looks like it works really well on other platforms, and there is that common argument now, especially how we came from long form content, AdSense, where you're earning several dollars per 1,000 views, to shorts AdSense, where you're earning maybe 10 or 20 cents if you're lucky per for 1,000 views. So the traditional way of how a lot of creators make money on YouTube through AdSense just isn't sustainable at all on shorts unless you're getting tens of millions of views. YouTube tends to be really good at this type of thing in terms of creating monetization opportunities for creators. So like, fingers crossed they do a better job of this than perhaps other platforms. But again, having said that, the things that worry me is like just the amount of you can spend on these.
Yeah.
Jules, like $50.
Yeah.
Goodness.
It's here's the thing too. I mean, I just spoke about how I'm kind of in the middle, right? Because of the, you know, they are competing with TikTok and stuff like that. But YouTube can also, it's in a position to set an example. And if people
Good point.
widely don't like this, and the reason I say this is because anecdotally, I've seen a lot of creators talk a lot of smack about how TikTok has evolved and to become this like over monetized platform. Could YouTube be setting a better example here by trying to find another way to monetize these live streams on shorts, for example? I don't know. I don't know. How else would you do it? I don't know. But that is where I guess you could hold YouTube to account here and say, can you do better? Like, okay, we want to monetize vertical live streams, but can we do it in a way that isn't as cheesy? You know, so again, I'm solidly in the B tier. I do not think this is an F tier update because of the amount of people who are participating on this side of YouTube. But our audience is certainly disagreeing with me. S tier.
Well, it's a split decision.
31%.
Yeah, split decision.
Yes. A tier is 10. B tier is 18. So love it or hate it. F tier is 39%. It's very, very interesting. So maybe this is, again, why it's in the B kind of section, just because so many of you are split. Like, this is very interesting.
All right, then. Let's move on to the next updates. And we're sticking with YouTube Shorts because there were a lot of Shorts updates. This is not from a video. It is from YouTube Help. This is the only place I could find it.
Oh, reading.
But this is interesting, at least in my opinion, right? So more effects capabilities on YouTube Shorts. We're introducing additional tools to... Oh, where's that gone? Why did it just jump up? Here we go. We're introducing additional tools to make Shorts creation even more fun and expressive. Effect Maker, a new web-based tool that will allow anyone to create, publish, and manage effects for use in YouTube Shorts. Gen AI Puppeteering. This new YouTube Shorts effect will turn creators into alter egos like superheroes or claymation figures that move with you. And all of that's coming out in the next couple of months, and Gen AI next year. Initial thoughts there, Dan, as we get the next poll up.
This is one where I kind of want to see it in action. I wish it was in the video because this is really weird and interesting to me. I wouldn't use this myself. And again, if I'm being diplomatic, that doesn't mean other people won't use it, but it does feel kind of overwrought. Like, do we need this? Also, I'm having to use the YouTube video editor a lot more lately as we're doing these live streams and cutting out parts of them. And YouTube has not done a great job. Sorry, YouTube. You've just not done a great job at building editing tools into your platform. I kind of wish you would kind of work on those main ones first, because I would like a better editing software. If we're being honest, I could let this video sit for a week and come back to edit it, and it still isn't like processed enough to make the edit fast. Anyway, I think this is kind of like I'm meh on this. It's hard to even have a strong opinion here, only because I wouldn't use it. I like using tools natively on my desktop. That's how I make shorts. I was just talking to Rob before the stream. In fact, if you stream on Twitch, like Twitch has some really, really simple to use features that let you make vertical content. It's not anything like this, but just to make it very quick, you know. And I think that's the thing about shorts is like, it's mostly about the quality of the content itself. Like if you're having to add a lot of effects and AI and all this stuff, like, you know, do you need that, or does your content need that level of polish? And if so, why? You know, I don't know. It just feels like, okay, I guess we have this now. I don't know how many people are going to use it. That's very, if I made more shorts, maybe I would be like, oh, but I have not.
Whew. Right. Well, I need to be the optimistic side of this argument. The thing that fascinates me, Dan, is if I get on screen properly, Effect Maker. Oh, I wish it would stop doing that. Right. A new web-based tool that translates to me that YouTube are finally giving desktop, laptop shorts creators some tools to actually make shorts, which they haven't done previously. I believe, and I'm one of them, there's a generation of creators who are happy to make shorts, but they don't want to do it on a phone. They still want to do it on a computer. And I think this gives them the opportunity to do that. You do make a good point about the YouTube editor being somewhat meh. So how good is this going to be? I don't know. And if this somehow introduces the opportunity to make completely custom thumbnails for YouTube Shorts, finally. But it's not going to happen, in my opinion. Gen AI puppeteering, again, I just translate that simply as VTubing without any of a technical pain. And I feel as if that can only be a good thing.
That's probably a good thing.
So, like, thumbs up for that as well. That's just my observations of this tool. What's the community saying here?
So interesting. We're really split this time. 31% S tier, 23% A tier, 22% B tier, and 24% F tier. This is a really interesting mix of opinions. Again, none of these tools so far have been like, you know, oh heck no. Like I haven't seen anything around like this needs to go in the F category. The last one we talked about being the closest. So I could not. I think I have to give this, even with I'm underwhelmed. I have to put this in the A column for myself, just because if the last thing we talked about is B, I don't feel like that belongs in the same category.
Okay. Would you believe it? We have another shorts feature here. Like YouTube are going all in for YouTube Shorts creators, and this is what they are offering next.
Let's talk shorts. YouTube is bringing Veo, Google DeepMind's latest video generation model, into YouTube Shorts via the Dream Screen feature. Dream Screen is live today to create green screen backgrounds, but soon users around the world will have access to the incredible capabilities of Veo to generate amazing video backgrounds, and for the first time, 6-second video clips that they can use directly in their shorts. This opens up an entirely new world of storytelling.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Rob? Hello? So with
for that. For example, here.
Hello?
Okay.
Are we good?
We lost you for a sec. You can maybe just rewind a little bit.
Let's go back. Let's go back here. Is that good?
Over the last year.
So imagine if you're telling a story in a short and you don't have B-roll to visualize a concept. Well, now you can generate video specifically for that. For example, here's how booktuber Haley Pham used it to visualize the book, The Secret Garden. Dream Screen with Veo is coming to YouTube Shorts. So the stories that you can tell are about to get way more interesting.
Little cameo there from Colin and Samir here. So Dan, what we're talking about is, I guess, YouTube saying, hey, AI generated content is cool on YouTube Shorts. Here's some tools, go wild.
I'm just going to try and describe this in the poll. Is YouTube Shorts with Veo, AI Gen Video is kind of in the parentheses there. S tier, A tier, B tier, F tier. I'm indifferent. This one, I don't know. I'm not feeling great about it personally. I know some of you out there use, generative AI in different ways, and I don't want to make you feel like, you're alienated or anything like that. I always say, like, AI is kind of a tool, and it's up to how you use it. And I think it can be used creatively in a way that doesn't, take away from content, but just adds to it. But this is getting like really close, I think, to really like heavily generating video to the point where it's silly. like then again, they showed the clips they showed made sense. Like they showed somebody in like, they dressed up for it and they stood up and they were in like a castle looking room. Like I get if you like green screen yourself and you're like, oh, I need like the perfect setting for this. It's kind of nice to be able to type into a machine and say, can you make me this setting? But of course we can see ways in which this could be used in not super stellar ways. So I don't know. Again, I find myself kind of underwhelmed and trying not to make anyone in particular feel like, oh gosh, that's how I make videos and these guys are pooping all over it. But at the same time, it's something I definitely would not use. I'll eat my words if I find a use for it, I suppose. But as of right now, the way I make content, this would just not be something I'd ever reach for.
The two main thoughts I have here are faceless channels rejoice. They're going to love this and be able to create more and more and more content. And then I kind of agree with you, Dan, in that maybe for like 10 to 20% of the really talented and thoughtful creators, this just enhances their content immensely. But then for the other like 70, 80% of creators who are going to use this, it's just going to, it's a scaling up opportunity where they can just type stuff into this YouTube sanctioned AI generation tool and chuck stuff out as quickly as humanly possible, or as quickly as AI generatedly possible. But, maybe we are just too cynical about AI content to give this a fair shot. The mention of being able to generate 6-second completely new bits of content to maybe add to B-roll you forgot to film, again, sounds interesting and curious. But ultimately, I think the viewer is going to decide how useful this tool is, because I think viewers are already quite in tune with identifying the AI look of content.
Yeah.
And they can decide like in 3 seconds, that's AI content. So it's that human addition, the storytelling or the emotion that's driving the AI content. Can the creator do that? And it's almost as if it doesn't matter how good and accurate these tools get, the creator still has to do something that makes a difference to who's watching it.
I think people in general, and this is outside of YouTube, have been proving that they're not going to be super responsible with these tools, and that's why there's a lot of skepticism, especially for me. I think there was like a Netflix documentary that was in the news because they used an AI image as B-roll, but it was to depict a real person, and they were talking about real events. It was a documentary, and they ended up using like an AI image, and it starts to chip away at the credibility of something like that. So I really think it depends on the content. If you're using it like this, it looks like this is a comedy video.
What you're saying here, Dan, is that someone's putting effort to like that. The costume isn't AI generated. They're still putting in a lot of effort into the filming here. It's just creating that set scene.
So I want us as as humans to just be careful about how we use things like this in a time where misinformation is running wild, and it is just as much as like we use these tools for different things, and it's just also opens up a can of worms. And so whenever I see a tool like this, I get a little skeptical. But I have hope. I like to add a little bit of optimism. I have hope that things can like continue to improve, and people can, like you said, identify the content. YouTube is putting labels on it. They did release the labels before releasing this. Hey, there's like AI content in this. That's good. I just want to see it used responsibly. I guess that's my big thing that I'm kind of curious about.
So what is our community deciding on this one?
We're splitting again. So,
B looks like.
Yeah, B tier is winning by a margin there. S tier at 25%, A tier at 20%, B tier at 31%, and F tier at 24%.
Let's agree with the majority there, I would say. We're going to put it in the B tier. All right, just one more tool here that we want to look at here. And how this is going to work is if we go onto the YouTube homepage, we can look at all of these videos and see that some videos are performing well. Like this one, for example, is an 8 times outlier. And what that means is that the video for that channel is performing really, really well. It's getting more views than typical. And so what you can do now is if you mouse over it, this button appears. It's called the remix tool. And how this is set up at the moment is we're cosplaying a weight loss channel. So imagine if you're a channel about, the weight loss journey, dieting, fitness goals and whatnot. How could you potentially turn this title, which is I blew up my LinkedIn following as fast as I could, into something that's targeted towards losing weight? So you click the remix tool and we get these alternative ideas. I crushed my weight loss goals as fast as I could. I blasted away belly fat in record time. I torched my diet plateau and got results fast. That's a tongue twister of a title, but it's really intriguing. So yeah, that remixed an idea for one niche and turned it into a title and a video idea for your niche. And, we could change it into a different type of channel. So Dan, give me an example. What could we do instead of a diet channel?
Okay. How about a Mario speedrunning channel?
Right. Okay. That's quite specific.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you end up in a niche that's really specific.
Okay. So Mario speedrunning, and we'll do that like Mario games will be number one.
You could just do gaming maybe, or Nintendo. I don't know.
Well, you've committed now. You've committed. So let's add some more stuff. Mario games. Maybe just add Super Mario as well here, and Super Mario. I'm just type in Super Mario Brothers as well. All right. Nintendo games is another one. Mario Bros. Right. Let's remix this again for a channel that's all about speedrunning. I beat Mario Kart as fast as I could. I mastered Super Mario Brothers in record time. I unlocked every Mario character as fast as I could. I crushed Bowser in under 10 minutes.
That's pretty good.
So all of these remix titles for something that was about LinkedIn. We've been a bit cheeky here. This isn't a YouTube feature that's coming in months. This is a vidIQ feature that is available right now if you download our Chrome extension. So once you have the extension installed, any of these videos, you'll see the remix button appear. So not all views are equal. We'll try and remix that into a Mario idea. Not all glitches are equal. Not all warp pipes are equal. That could be an interesting one, like finding the most valuable warp pipes in all of Mario games. That'd be an interesting nostalgia trip. Would that?
Why are some of the warp pipes? They go nowhere. Some of them go. Yeah, it's what I love about this is that you could have a channel about anything, and you can remix someone's video that is about something completely different, and all it's doing is saying, okay, I get the vibe of what you're going for. Here's how you could do it on your channel. There is also like a conversation around like, well, is this not just like taking someone else's idea? And I would argue that that's what we've been doing on YouTube forever. Like you see something that's interesting, and even if you don't mean to do it this way, you're getting inspired by someone's content going, what if I did my version of that? Like, oh, that's a Mario speedrunning channel, but I have a channel about woodworking, and I think I could find a pretty good, bridge there. I quit speedrunning. I'm done with Super Mario 64. Like, again, these are ideas that are unique to a fictional channel we just made about Mario and speedrunning and stuff like that. And I'm quitting YouTube, and it's like, oh, okay, well, you're a Mario channel, so you're quitting Super Mario. It's pretty awesome. I, of course, am biased, but I think this is really, really helpful if you're just looking for that inspiration to come up with something that's like, okay, like I have this idea for a video. How am I going to title it in a way that like has worked traditionally? Like I want to make sure people find this video. What can I do?
And look at that, Dan. The community agrees with us. 35% S tier. No further discussion required. There you go. bang at the top. So do make sure to check out the remix tool along with all of our other tools. And we've got a special offer here. Look at this. You can get vidIQ for $1 right now if you scan the QR code. So get your phones out. And if you scan it, it'll actually appear on screen. Somebody just did it. Wow, look at that. Somebody scanned the QR code. And that will take you to a secret page where you can get the remix tool and all of our other vidIQ tools for just $1. But make sure you act fast. I want to try and bring up the S tier screen along with the Q. How would we do that? So I don't know if that would remove you from the stream, Dan. So I don't want to remove this from the stream, but I wanted to keep talking, and I don't know how to do that. I think what I'm going to have to do is that. Right. Okay. So here we go. More people scanning the QR code. Excellent. Right. So we've agreed, Dan, myself, and you as a community, that communities, whereby you will let anybody post on your community tab, automatic language dubbing and translation, and the vidIQ remix tool are S tiers. Community spotlighting, comment automation and comment metrics, YouTube hype, and the web-based YouTube Shorts tools are A tier. And finally, YouTube Jewels and AI video creation are in the B tier. Nothing has been relegated to the very bottom. Final thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I do think that we were very fair with a lot of these. Some of them in context of other ones would make me, like if I were doing this alone and we weren't getting opinions from the audience, I might move some of these around, especially based on my own uses of YouTube. So if you don't agree with these, it's totally fine. But not that I need to tell you that. But I think overall, whenever YouTube adds a batch of updates, it's a good thing. Like, there's usually something in there for everybody. And that does mean everybody, which means there's going to be some stuff in there that you don't like. And that is why YouTube's kind of great, because it's this platform that is very diverse and it is for everybody. So overall, even the more negative updates I see as a positive.
Thanks for watching. We look forward to your thoughts about these new tools in the comments once this video goes on to video on demand. And do make sure to check out the dedicated video that, I don't know, Dan, if you can point it to in the corner, because I'm going to put it in your corner. So move your head right over to one side. That's it. And then point in the corner, which you're not actually in. There's going to be a video right there, which is specifically on the hype tool.